Underground dialogue. We gon' tell the truth. We ain't scared like a lot of y'all. Matters who they are. Do we bow? No, not at all. Dropping bombs on this wicked world, so it gotta fall. Underground dialogue. We gon' tell the truth. We ain't scared like a lot of y'all. Matters who they are. Do we bow? No, not at all. Dropping bombs on this wicked world, so it gotta fall. From the industry to the Oval Office, we expose the darkest motives of them all and disclose what the protocol is. Thinking and moving logical, stopping every maneuver possible, and apologizing for truth is not optional. We gon' help you with what you go through, reshape and mold you, and sweep over them weak lies they told you. If you living with no clue, we gon' deprogram the old you, and you get to keep your soul.
What up, too. Man? It's your big brother K Reno.
It's your boy Keystone.
And y'all are tuned in again to another episode of the Underground Dialogue Podcast. And tonight, man, we got our brother sitting in the legend seat tonight, man. It's been a long time coming for this one. I told him he'd been on the radar for a long time. And we interviewed so many rap artists and musical people. But one thing about this show, we gonna always make sure that y'all get this work when it comes to this knowledge and this information that we need. This brother here, man, long time, decades member of the Nation of Islam, man, FOI, activist, frontline soldier, man. He's an author, a freedom fighter, a unifier of people, man. He stands in the gap for the people who are unable to stand and fight for themselves. He's a mentor. He's an investor in our youth. And he's a tireless worker in a cause of freedom, justice, and equality for our people, man. The one and only Deric Muhammad. What's going on, family?
Peace and blessings, brother K. Peace and blessings, dear brother. And it's an honor and a privilege to be on the Underground Dialogue.
Man.
You know, it reminds me of how Harriet Tubman built the Underground Railroad, and the objective was to free her people.
Right.
And that is what comes to mind when I think about the Underground Dialogue.
Yeah, no question.
It's a space where people can come in and free their minds.
Hey, you making me look at it from a different angle. Like we weren't thinking about that when we get, but no, but that's a blessing, brother. You know, because that term underground, it does represent just people who have kind of had to do it on the cool. Like we can't let everybody know how we moving, and by the time they figure it out, it's too late.
It's too late.
It's already, the train is rolling. We're going to get right into you, brother, because, you know, your life story would be amazing, in my opinion, you know, because you've done so much. You come from the spaces we come from. We just regular hood dudes that grew up, and in a lot of cases, we didn't really know what direction our lives was going to take. Now, you know, every superhero got an origin story.
Yes, sir.
So, give us some backdrop, brother, about you for people who might not know and how you ended up in this work that you in.
Man, that's always a difficult story to tell.
Yeah.
Because I don't necessarily like talking about myself. But since I was asked the question, born in Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
Y'all got me on the southwest side right now.
But
I'm a north sider by nature. Grew up in Fifth Ward, Homestead area.
Yeah.
I am the middle child of 5 children. My mother was a teenage mother. She gave birth to my sister, I believe, at the age of 16.
Yeah.
Gave birth to my brother at the age of 17, and gave birth to me at the age of 19.
Yeah.
So I was the third child of a teenage mother.
Yeah.
Just to give you a snapshot of some of the difficulties that we faced, you know, coming up. I was born in the 70s, which I believe was the most creative decade.
I agree.
For our people.
Yeah.
But I spent my preteen and teenage years in the 1980s. And anybody who came up in the 1980s, you know, we faced a lot of hardships.
Yeah.
Reaganomics, the crack era, the war on drugs, which
AIDS.
now recognize as the war on black people.
Right, that's right.
My mother was a casualty of the war on drugs. See, you got to understand that we came up in the era that was prior to crack cocaine.
Right.
So we saw what the community was like before crack hit the hood.
Right.
So that house that was on the corner, it was just a regular house. You watched it one day, you know, you see a broken window, then you see some stuff thrown in the yard, and now you see people coming in and out the house because you don't have any knowledge of what Ronald and Nancy Reagan were doing from Washington, D.C. You didn't know nothing about the Iran-Contra scandal.
Right.
You didn't know nothing about the conspiracy to, pump cocaine into our community to destroy our community.
Right.
We didn't know anything about the building of prisons and how at some point they would be privatized. We did not know that we were lab rats. But we witnessed the transformation of our community. It happened right in front of our faces. We watched our loving aunties turn into what they call crackheads.
Right.
So I came up in an era where, it was tough. My father died when I was 11 years old, so I grew up without a dad.
Right.
I barely graduated high school. So when I came out, I got robbed on the south side.
Oh, man. Sorry about that.
Didn't know. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. But my older brother had gone into the U.S. Marine Corps the year before me.
Right.
And that night that I got robbed, I left my pistol on the north side. I got robbed with a pistol, but I left my pistol at my grandmother's house.
Right.
So I had the bright idea to go to my mom's house and get a knife. So I'm running around, riding around, trying to find the guys that robbed me with a pistol.
You finna bring a knife to a
knife.
gunfight.
So when it came to me that I'm trying to bring a knife to a gunfight, that's when I realized, man, I got to do something to get up out these streets. So I followed my brother into the military. That obviously was not for me, obviously, but it was there that I became militarized.
Right.
Not for the U.S. government, but for Black people. It was there that I read my first book, the autobiography of Malcolm X.
Yeah.
Then I read The Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams. Then I read the ISIS Papers by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. And it was there in the military that I began to recognize how oppressed we were as a people. And that's when I first got in contact with Islam.
Right.
So I kicked up a lot of dust in the military. I was an activist in the military. So they kicked me out early. And when I came back home, that's when I joined the Nation of Islam.
Yeah.
That was 1993, my brother.
Right.
2 years later, I went with the FOI to Washington, D.C. for the 1995 Million Man March. And it's not lost on me that today, October 16th,
come on, man. Come on.
represents 30 years to the day
Come on.
that I attended the Million Man March, which was one of the most powerful days of my entire life.
Absolutely.
So that's just a snapshot about me and who I am.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm just a servant of my people.
No question. No question. And today is October 16th, 30-year anniversary of the Million Man March. That's not lost on me, but it's like I remember every phase of that like it was yesterday.
Mhm.
All the difficulties I went through to trying to get there and making sure I got there, So, but it's funny you said that you came across a lot of those books while in the military. It seems like it would be more difficult to have access to that kind. Was it another brother in the military with you that kind of introduced? Because it seemed like they would try to block that,
Mhm.
where you had no knowledge of this stuff just as a civilian. Now you behind those walls and find those books like that.
Yeah, let me say that when I went into the military, I was 17 years old. So by the age of 18, I remember walking through the barracks and I saw a brother who's from Louisiana sitting on the ground reading a book. And I remember what I thought in my head. I'd never seen a Black man read a book ever in my life if he wasn't in school. So I asked the brother, I say, man, what are you reading? He said, this is the autobiography of Malcolm X. Now, mind you, I'm 18 years old.
Right.
My next question was, who's Malcolm X?
Wow.
At the age of 18, I'd never even heard of Malcolm X.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
So afterward, he started saying to the others, man, this he don't know who Malcolm X is. So it like kind of drew a crowd.
He was like a unicorn.
And people were like, man, you don't know who Malcolm X is? Yeah. No. Where are you from? I'm from Houston. On the north side of Houston, we didn't have no black consciousness over.
No doubt.
All we had was Martin Luther King, John F. Kennedy, and White Jesus
on the wall.
That was about it.
That's the trio right there.
That's the trio,
yeah,
right.
Yeah, no question.
That's your Destiny's Child.
Yeah.
So I didn't know anything about Marcus Garvey. We didn't know anything about, you hear a little bit about Frederick Douglass.
Yeah.
But it was in my neighborhood where I grew up where I didn't have access to the knowledge. But when you go into the military, it's not long that you're gonna realize that you behind enemy lines.
Yes.
And that these racist crackers up in here don't have your best interest in mind.
Right.
So what that does is it gives you a taste of the oppression that your people experience in America, but it gives you a taste that you can see, like you can recognize it.
Right.
See, in the hood, I didn't know that we had inferior textbooks. I didn't know that we had inferior technology at our school. I didn't know. Why? Because I never had anything to compare it to.
Come on, man.
If you would have asked me at the age of 17 if I ever experienced racism in my life, I would have told you no. Because the only people that I saw killing black people were other black people.
Yeah.
The only people I saw stealing from black people were other black people. The only people I saw raping and robbing black people were other black people.
No doubt.
But when I came into the military, I was taught about what they call systemic racism. See, that is why we have to have an underground dialogue and the underground everything else. Because as long as you have systemic racism, you don't have a chance. So we have to build our own systems. That's what Harriet Tubman did. She built her own system. You call it the Underground Railroad, but what it was a system independently built of the systems that had been put in place to oppress us in the first place. So it was really the hood that I didn't have proper access to information that will wake me up to who I am and whose I am.
Yeah.
And it trips me out because I saw a statistic earlier today where in the building trades in America, construction and building, where black people represent 12% of the population, we only represent less than 5% of the people in the building and construction trades. This is why when you drive down the street and you see a construction site, you see a brother out there every night, but you barely see us.
Right.
But wait a minute. We're the ones who built the pyramid.
Yeah.
We're builders by nature. We built all of the highest level civilizations in history. Why aren't we building today? It is because we have been denied access to knowledge of self.
Come on.
Because when you get knowledge of self, it produces respect for self. And respect for self produces respect for life. One of the reasons that it's so easy for us to take one another's life is because we don't respect self and we don't know self.
Yeah.
But as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us, when the black man is taught the knowledge of himself, he comes back to his own, and he teaches us that the black man is righteous by nature. He's only unrighteous by circumstance.
Come on.
When you remove the circumstance, you see the God come all up out of him.
Man, a beautiful thing. And I was thinking about, too, it makes a lot of sense how we wouldn't have access to that kind of knowledge, because even brothers who have been in the world all this time and dealing with a lot of the things you mentioned about the selling dope, killing, robbing, stealing, they go right to prison and they find God, they find knowledge. And a lot of brothers have been self-reformed behind the prison walls when the lie is that you go to prison to be reformed, when they make a lot of brothers worse up in that thing, man. So yeah, so that was pretty strong, man. Now, this mission that you have taken on, because I know once you join the nation, now you got to focus. It took away another one of my other questions, because if you never heard of Malcolm, I know you had never heard of the minister before.
Never.
Or Donald Elijah Muhammad, you know.
Right.
What was it like when you first were introduced to those two men in terms of just being shown who they are? I mean, there had to be like a mind-blowing thing. I know for me it was like
right when I first started down this road of self-discovery, that's what they call it. I'm studying a little Black history. I'm studying a little Egyptology. I'm studying a little bit of everything. And I'd heard of Minister Farrakhan, but I had never heard the minister.
Gotcha.
And I did my last year in the military in Japan, which was it was a great experience for me. And a brother, I saw him carrying a backpack, and on his backpack he had the letters written in pen, FOI. And I was like, oh, this dude's FOI, right? So I started talking to the brother, and he mentioned the minister, and he said, have you never heard the minister speak? I said, no. So he gave me a tape. And it was a tape called Power at Last Forever, 1985, New York City. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan speaking on Power at Last Forever. Brother, I played that tape day and night.
You were jamming it like it was an album, man. Yeah.
I played it day and night. And from the moment that I heard the minister's voice, maybe a good 2 or 3 minutes in, I knew that this was a man that I was born to help.
Right.
It's just a feeling that you get, you know. And then shortly thereafter, my brother, who had gotten out of the military, started sending me books. I think I would send him books, and he would order them for me. So I got a hold of the Message to the Black Man. Then I got a hold to How to Eat to Live.
Oh, man.
So at this point, you know, my little pea brain is being, you know, transformed. This is a completely new knowledge. And so I got into some trouble over in the military. I was facing about 20 years.
Damn.
From a very serious charge. That I'll just call it a very serious charge.
Right.
And believe it or not, as Allah is my witness, I would not lie to you, I beat the case. But I beat the case by being my own lawyer, representing myself.
Wow.
I did not even know back then that that's not something that you.
Yeah, look. You know the saying. They say the man who represents himself in court has a fool for an attorney for a client.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So and so Allah got me out of that situation, and afterward they asked me, "Hey, do you want to get out early?" So I came home, and I tell you what happened to me. When I got home, I started, lollygagging, we all have our little habits that we don't want to give up.
Right.
And we think, well, I'll go to the mosque once I clean myself up.
No.
Which there's no such thing. You don't say, I'll go to the hospital when I get well.
Right. Yeah.
That's where you go.
I go to rehab when I stop smoking crack.
Exactly. So I'm driving down Homestead, and I saw a brother on the corner selling the Final Call newspaper. So I bought a couple papers from him, but I didn't let him know that I knew what about the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So I would buy papers from him and then go back to the hood and sell them to the brothers. Then I go back and buy some more. Right. That was me doing my part quietly.
Right.
So the next time I went back to get papers from the brother, I saw the police harassing him. And I'm talking about trying to rough him up, but he was trying to rough them up too.
Right.
And I remember I was in Jack in the Box's drive-thru about to get me some tacos, right? I left my car running in the drive-thru and ran over there And I asked the brother, what you want to do?
Right.
I had that kind of temperament back then. Like, what you want to do?
No.
Like, you want to fight? What we gonna do? So when the brother saw me looking crazy, probably, he calmed down and he said, call the mosque. So I say, okay, what's the number? So he gave me the number. I ran across the street to the payphone. That's how long ago it was.
Yeah. 35 cents.
Right.
25, yeah.
And I called the mosque, and the brothers from the mosque told me, nah, calm down. It's okay. That happens. They say, what kind of cars the brother driving? I say, he's in a green Mercedes. Oh yeah, that's brother Jeffrey. Oh, he'll be all right. And I remember in the Malcolm X movie, when they arrested the brother, they followed the police car to the station.
Right.
I said, you want me to follow them to the station?
I'm following the movie script. Yeah.
He said, no, you fine, brother.
Yeah.
And then brother said, what's your name? So I told him my name. So I went to the mosque that next Sunday, and I saw the brother who I was out there trying to help, and that's when I joined. And by the help of Allah, never looked back.
Man.
Best decision I ever made in my life.
Beautiful, man. You think Allah put you in that space at that time when that brother was getting harassed like that? Just because it's like we don't believe in coincidence. So
I know He did.
Yeah.
I know Allah fixed it where I would beat that case with me being my own lawyer.
Yeah.
And that was to get me back to America.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't coming back.
Right.
For what? The only reason I came back to America was to do what I'm doing right now.
Right.
Was to get involved in the struggle. Other than that, I had no reason to come back. But yeah, because I was out there, doing my own thing. I was like Jonah.
Yeah.
Running from what I know I was supposed to be doing.
Right.
But if you put me on the same block or in the same space with my people, and they're being harassed and oppressed right in my face, I can't help myself.
No.
I can't help myself. And Allah knew that. So yeah, I know exactly what Allah was doing and why He was doing it.
Man.
One of the things I seen, even from that story I got, that you once you see it, you attack. And it means so much more when somebody's able to put the action in. That's not saying, I seen you the other day over there and it nothing happened. And one of the things that I got from you, brother, I don't know if you know this or not, but one of the times when me, Kay, I think my daughter was out there, when you was out there and the Texans owner had said that crazy stuff about the Texans owner.
Oh yeah.
Man, I think that day through you, brother, man, I built a relationship back with my daughter through that.
Man, I ain't know that.
Yeah, we was out there protesting and the same thing. We was going through something in the house, but having something to fight for that was righteous outside of each other brought us back together. So just by you bringing in that, I wanted to tell you that when I got here, but I just seen that fight in you, man. And I was trying to see, where did that fight come from? Is that something that the Army sort of pushed into you? Or
that ain't the Army.
Right. That's a very good question.
Cause you was taking on the Texans and everybody.
And sometimes you look back at that stuff and you go, whoa.
Man, I was crazy.
Right.
Yeah, no doubt.
But my grandmother was a very tough lady. And my grandmother was a political activist. She was very heavy in the unions. She was a country girl from Wallace, Texas. Came to Houston to start a new life, had 3 daughters. And, like most of our grandparents, she was a domestic worker, meaning she cleaned white folks' toilets in River Oaks. But she was a very dignified woman. Yeah. So she finally got her a good government job. That's what they call it.
Right, back in the day.
Post office.
Yeah.
And, but this was during the day when Black people who worked at the post office had to use the restroom in the basement.
Yeah.
It was almost like a prison tank. And there were 2 toilets, one for the males and one for the females, but there was no wall. So women had to form a human shield.
Yeah.
So that the men would not see the women go to the toilet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, this is at your job.
Yeah.
And I heard stories of how my grandmother, during the meetings, the employee meetings, she would stand up. She'd be real vocal about it. And she would make other black people afraid, men too, because she didn't know how to back down.
Right.
So, man, my grandmother, you know, my pops was a hustler. He was a fighter.
Yeah.
My mother's a fighter in her own way. So, yeah, the fight is in us. It's not just in me. You know, it's in us. And, you know, sometimes, brother, just to tell you a story that I found out, something I found out recently. So on my father's side,
John Lewis.
no.
He kind of like a young John Lewis.
I read that before. It's a good one.
Yeah.
But no, listen. Way stronger than John Lewis. No disrespect to
No
John
disrespect,
Lewis.
yeah,
No
yeah.
disrespect. But John Lewis is mild compared to some of the people I come from.
Right.
But my father's mother's mother, who was my great grandmother, was out of Franklin, Louisiana. That's where my people come from. I just found this out recently. So my great grandmother, she was a sharecropper in Franklin. And she built herself up to the point to where she owned a nice sized piece of land. And she built a home on her land. Well, some of the white men in that area wanted to buy the property from her. And she refused to sell the property. So, you know, when you refuse, they just keep coming back.
Right.
And then they keep coming back. And at some point, they start to try to intimidate you. Well, my great grandmother wasn't having it.
Yeah.
And at one point, she pulled a shotgun and shot a white man in the face. This is well documented.
Right.
So what happened is she told my grandmother and my grandmother's sisters, y'all got to get up out of here. Because that's how they did it back in the day. You know, if one of our family members either killed or hurt somebody white, the rest of the family, y'all had to go to the big city.
Right.
Because they coming for me, but they'll kill you show as hell. So that is how my grandmother ended up in Houston. Were it not for that, I might not even be sitting here.
Right.
But my grandmother stayed on her property, and one day they came back. These enemies came back and they set fire to her home. So she ran into the home because there were children in the house. She went in to save the children and they locked the door on her. So my great grandmother was burned alive in her own home for what it is that she did in order to protect her own property.
Right.
And so as it is written in the family history, when they finally went in, they found my great grandmother underneath a mattress, sheltering the children, trying to save the children. And when my auntie narrated that story for me, because my grandmother, before she passed away, she never told us any of this. And me and my grandmother were very close. She was just a different kind of, we never really understood her. You know, she grew up in the projects right there at 7601 Curry Road. And no matter how successful any of her children became, she would never move. And we just didn't understand her.
She got roots.
Right. She would wake up 3 o'clock in the morning, every morning, and she prayed so loud you could hear her at the corner store. We didn't understand her until this was exposed to us. But I always tell people, you know, when I see my people, you know, being oppressed or abused or mistreated, the fire that I feel in my belly, that's the fire that they used to burn my grandmother's house up. I feel like it was it was put in me. And I think it's one thing for us to go back and find out what tribe we came from in Africa.
Right.
But there's so much history just in the last 150 years in our families that could help us to understand, you know, how we ended up the way we are.
That's right. That's
You know,
right.
so I come from a long legacy of fighters, and I got big shoes to fill.
Yeah. Well, you definitely in that process of filling them, bro, and it explains so much about how you move, because now, I won't say now, like you've been doing it, you grew into taking on the fight of other people, taking on people's fights who couldn't fight for themselves. Like you see somebody who was brutalized by police officers. You see a mother who's lost their child to street violence, and every time you are one of the people that's on the front lines standing up, whether it be against white oppression or whether it be against our own people, unfortunately doing that type of stuff to each other. What has been the toughest part about this mission that you're on? Because from a personal side, you know, we believe and know that when God puts it in you to do a thing, you know, that's your purpose and you're gonna do that. As humans, as people, that's still a personal side. How do you balance whatever emotions you feel? I know it can get tiring, stressful, you know. Can you speak to that?
That's a very good question. I think the toughest moments for me is hearing the sound of a mother who has lost her child to senseless gun violence. I'll never get used to that particular sound. It's just something about that particular sound that that breaks me down and makes me want to help to build that person up. It also makes you feel a little helpless. See, if the police shot one of our brothers, then we know where to direct our aggression. You understand what I'm saying? But when we do it to one another, that's the toughest pill to swallow, which is why early on in my activist career, if that's what you want to call it, it was a lot of no justice, no peace. A lot of what do we want justice? When do we want it now? You know, a lot of protests, a lot of marches. And there is still a need for that as well. I still participate in that as well. But I found that there are two types of activism. There's proactivism and then there's reactivism. Don't Google that because I made that up.
We're going to get into your T-shirt quotes later on. Walking T-shirt quotes. Yeah.
But reactivism is when we're constantly reacting to what the oppressor has done to us. And when you are a reactionary, you going to get tired because he's not going to take his foot off your neck until his time to leave the planet. That's what he was put here to do. But when we engage in the proactive side of this work, I believe that we're a lot more effective. This means that instead of waiting for the grandmother to call me and ask if I can come to be a character witness for her son who's on trial for murder, if I can catch her son before he makes the crash out decision to take somebody else's life and teach him and train him that this is his brother, not his enemy, then I don't have to go and support him on the back end. I've already educated him, taught him, and trained him on the front end. So the best time to catch a thief is before he steals. And the best time to catch a killer is before he kills. So the vast majority of my work nowadays is focused in pouring into our young people, pouring into our youth, planting seeds that will still be growing long after we gone. You understand what I'm saying? I believe that the return on that investment is a lot more beneficial for our people and our culture than just the no justice, no peace.
Yeah.
Now, that's not a green light to go and disrespect the people who stand in the middle of the street and hold signs that say, I can't breathe.
Right.
They must be respected as well, because that has its place. That's very important.
Yeah.
But for me, as far as my growth and my development and my maturity as an activist, I have to make certain that I'm putting my energy and my effort into that which is going to have more of a long-term impact.
But if a surgeon is performing a surgery, the main surgeon, he's the one doing the cutting and the this and that, but he gonna look to somebody and say scalpel.
Right.
So somebody hands him that scalpel. Their job is important too, but somebody got to do that heavy lifting and that real deep work that a lot of people are not built to do.
Right.
Some people ain't built to get up in the police officer's face. So yeah, it is a place, but God gives everybody a role. It's
right.
like
and to that point, if you don't mind me making this point, the great Black leader who was also an entertainer, Paul Robeson, had a saying. He said that the battle is everywhere. And when he said that the battle is everywhere, what he meant was, I may be the activist who holds the sign on the protest sign. That's one battle.
Right.
You may be the journalist who takes the pen and creates the narrative that helps the guy that's standing on the picket line. That's a battle, okay? You may be the artist that creates the soundtrack to the struggle of that particular period of time. That's a battle. The battle is everywhere, and we need soldiers in every battle.
Every aspect.
We need soldiers who are doctors.
Yeah.
We need soldiers who are attorneys. And the reason I say that is because people call me activist. They call some of us activists, organizers, and things of that nature. But my role is not more important than anybody else's, in my humble opinion.
Right.
We all have a role to play. And when everybody gets to the point where they're comfortable in their own shoes, playing their own role, then we as a people are going to get a whole lot further. Why? Because I'm not so focused on criticizing the way you play your role.
Right.
I got a whole lot of work to do to perfect the way that I play my role.
That's right.
And when we start all singing on the same sheet of music like that,
it's over.
And like Brother Deloyd Parker of the Shape community always says, there's no big eyes, no little you.
Right. That's right.
When we start singing on the same sheet of music like that, brother, we're going to rise overnight.
Yeah.
But everybody's role is important. Yeah. You just got to be found playing your role.
Yeah. And
I always say, if you're in your own lane, the only way people crash is when people trying to get in the wrong lane. They trying to cross over to your lane and they crashing. But if we all in our own lane, we going.
Right.
We not moving.
You star in your role. Hakeem Olajuwon couldn't bring the ball up the court.
Right.
The point guard got to bring it up again, but we all got the same uniform, we playing for the same team. And that's a perfect segue into the Black Male Summit, because this we want to get into what sparked that idea, but for people who don't know, Brother Deric, he gathers these young men up early. We talking about nipping it in the bud. We talking about stopping the young man from becoming a killer, stopping the young man from becoming a thief. The work that we see you do with the Black Male Summit is so amazing, because I look at still shot pictures, and they pictures worth 1,000 words, and I could see the attentiveness of them young cats. They just looking at like, because you and other brothers that you bring in to assist you in these summits, they are all skilled in their own way, just like we got to talk about, and captivating the minds of these young brothers. And that has to be such a big relief to a lot of the mothers who bring those young men into you.
The mentors he bring in.
Without a doubt. Can you give us a backdrop on that? And like, I guess you kind of touched on the origins of, but the summit in particular,
Mm-hmm.
and what effects that you've seen it have over the years.
Man, so it was Frederick Douglass who said that it is better to teach strong boys than it is to repair broken men. In the nutshell, Brother K, what inspires the Black Male Summit more than anything, and what would inspire me to want to make the sacrifice to keep doing this for the past 15 years, is because I feel like I know what they're going through.
Yeah.
I know what they're going through.
Yeah.
And what they need.
I know what it's like to grow up fatherless.
Yeah.
I know what it's like to be born without instructions. I know what it's like to have a parent who has a substance abuse problem. I know what it's like to be misunderstood by the rest of the family. I know what it's like to have to live, house to house. I get it.
Yeah.
And because I was like, my life is like a game of inches.
Yeah. Barely missed it.
An inch from prison.
Right.
Inch from catching that bullet that whizzed right by my ear. Man, I know what God has done with me and is still doing with me. And if he can do it for me, I know he can do it for you no matter what circumstances you're growing up under. That's why we say how you grew up does not have to dictate how you end up.
Right.
I know what it's like to not have the kind of guidance that you need as a 13-year-old, 14-year-old, 15-year-old trying to navigate the road between boyhood and manhood. I know what it's like. So when I see what a lot of these young brothers are going through, it makes me to reflect on, what it is that I went through as a young boy. And, like they say in the church, how I got over.
Yeah.
So that's really what inspires it more than anything else. Getting tired of being called to murder scenes.
Yeah.
Getting sick and tired of being called, to court dates. Watching 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds get 30, 40 years in prison. And brother, when you really just do the math and reduce it down to what really happened, it don't be about nothing.
Yeah.
It don't be about nothing. It equates to nothing. And listen, half the time, it's not the young brother living in poverty in the projects. No, these be the youngsters that live in the suburbs whose families have deep six-figure incomes. Mama make $300,000. Daddy make $500,000 a year. But he is so devoid of an identity.
Right. And he trying to portray something that he ain't never been, don't have no concept of.
Well, see, he living not in a 5,000 square foot house in Pearland.
Right.
But when he goes around his peers and they ask him, where you from? He don't want to claim Pearland. So what does he do? He say, I'm from Fifth Ward. Because that's where his granny lived.
Right.
That's where his mom and his daddy grew up. Because he building his identity. And because his mama and his daddy still together and his life don't look like NBA young boys, he ashamed of the fact.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what I know. He's ashamed of the fact that he lives in a 2-parent household.
Right.
He's ashamed of the fact that his family got 3-4 cars. Why? Because they'll always be able to accuse him of not getting it out the mud. Oh, you had this handed to you.
Right.
So these are some of the really peculiar dynamics that I'm finding in these cases that I'm dealing with. So a lot of these youngsters, they have a lot of options and a lot of opportunity, but they are choosing the streets to try to prove a point.
Yeah.
Not because they need to in order to feed themselves and their families.
Yeah. And a lot of, unfortunately, a lot of our music promotes that too. And they listening to a lot of our music that promotes that lifestyle and it's glorified and glamorized.
The music is the catalyst.
Yeah.
The music is the catalyst That's what's playing over and over and over in their heads all day long.
Yeah.
So these rappers, the rappers are their superheroes.
Yeah.
And as long as the enemy can control your superheroes,
There we go.
they can control you. So this is your superhero, but your superhero has millions of dollars but can't get himself out of jail because he locked up on a RICO case.
That's right.
Not speaking of any particular, rap artist, but I'm saying this is the landscape right now.
No question about it.
And, part of it is our fault.
Yeah.
Because this generation that we're raising, they feel invisible.
Right.
They feel like we talk at them and not to them. And more importantly, they don't feel like that we're listening to them. People ask how I'm able to have success with these middle schoolers and high schoolers. The key is to get them to talk to you. If you can get them to trust you enough to talk to you,
you got them.
You got them.
Yeah.
You know why? Because they'll tell you how to help them. But if you spend 90% of the time talking,
yeah,
and you're not even listening,
right?
You probably telling this 17-year-old what you should be telling that one, but you don't know that because you haven't even taken the time to hear what's on his mind.
Come on.
To see what he's going through. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, come on, man. Absolutely.
And they end up crashing out, trying to be somebody.
Right.
Many of them would rather be a somebody on the front of a t-shirt, a RIP t-shirt, than to be a nobody walking around in real life.
Yeah, because just the I'll speak about attention deficit disorder, but I'll speak about it in a totally different definition. When I say you attention deficit disorder, that means we walking around feeling like we don't get enough attention. And so we had a deficit of that. And so we'll find any kind of way. And what you said is so profound because they feel like if I get a funeral, it'll be about me.
Yeah.
Man, you're not going to even be here to even see what it is. But also the flip side is that our young people got to know, and some of our older people got to know that just living life tells you, and having gone to multiple funerals tells you that, man, you going to get that shine for about a week or two.
Right.
Then everything is back to normal, so that ain't what you want. That ain't what you want at all.
It's not
man.
what you want.
Yeah. So have you seen like 15 years you've watched some of those brothers actually grow up? Yeah. Has there been like a follow-up or communication with a lot of the brothers that have come through the Black Male Summit that now they grown and those success stories and stuff like that?
Yeah, we haven't had a systematic follow-up.
Yeah.
But it always happens organically.
Right.
A lot of the young brothers that I mentored when they were 12 years old, some of them are approaching 30 now.
Yeah.
Some of them work for me.
Wow.
We're family. I could be in a coffee shop and a young brother might approach me and say, man, I came to the Black Male Summit when I was 14. Hey, man, thank you for that. Or I might be in a store somewhere and I see somebody with a Black Male Summit t-shirt on 10 years ago.
Come on, man. Come on.
But I've been to many graduations, college graduations, master's degree. Like we got a young brother who just got his master's in finance who came up, in the Black Male Summit.
Yeah.
So there are so many success stories that I'd be here all day trying to name them all.
Yeah.
But that's why we keep going with it. Because I feel as if though, I won't say that we have the formula, but we have a formula.
That's right.
Like that youngster who will not listen to you.
Yeah.
I got a network of brothers. Now, if he can't relate to me, I guarantee you he can relate to Silky
Slim.
I guarantee you he can relate to Reginald OG.
Come on, OG1.
Yeah. I guarantee you he can relate. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
It's loaded.
We got a whole brotherhood.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And so that right there is what keeps me going. But on the flip side, I got a message from one of my mentees. product of the Black Male Summit, and he was a student also in my Saturday school. We have a Saturday school for Black boys. And he said, Brother Deric, unfortunately, I won't be able to make it to the Black Male Summit this weekend because I have this ankle monitor on. And this ankle monitor dictates that I cannot leave the house on weekend.
Yeah.
And he ended the note by saying, I apologize, Brother Deric. I apologize. And I was like, oh my God. That hit me in the heart. I felt like the apology was because y'all tried to tell me before I got myself caught up in this mess.
Right.
I felt like that's what that was about. But I say that to say we have success stories and we have stories where some of our youngsters are, they went the wrong way.
Yeah.
And they still on that road to success.
Oh, yeah.
But we don't give up on none of them.
Come on. You took the words right out of my mind because his story's still not finished
It's
yet.
not.
So he felt like he let you down because
Yeah.
you had told him. But he feels the remorse though.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah.
Because we talk about so many brothers who out here so raw in these streets, they don't have, you talked about respect and love for self. They don't have none of that. They kill with no thought.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that he has some type of remorse and feeling like, man, to me, that's a good sign.
Yeah. And he apologized.
Yeah.
He don't owe me an apology. Right. But he apologized to me. I apologize, brother. I didn't ask for that. But like you said, it let you know where his heart is.
Right.
The Black Male Summit means so much to him.
Yeah.
He wants to be there.
Yeah.
I apologize, brother.
Right.
Dear. So what we'll do is we just gonna make the extra effort to catch up with him on a weekday.
Yeah, set up a Zoom
and
or something. Maybe he can see it live on Zoom. I don't know if y'all have it set up like that.
Sometimes with men, especially I don't know if he has a father in his life, but sometimes with men, when you finally get that male, that relationship with somebody that produces a standard for you.
Yeah.
And you don't hit the standard because sometimes maybe you just at this one time you feeling funny or whatever, and you just go with the crowd. But what he did was when he said he's sorry, he said, okay, now when he comes back around, I already see how he took it, how I felt, how my family felt. And I guarantee he won't do it.
I don't want to let coach down. It's like I don't want to let coach down. Yeah, that's strong. I want to ask you, the black folks, we got a long grocery list of problems that we got to overcome, a bunch of things that need fixing in our community. We'll be here all month if we started going. Yeah, man, one of them long, look, one of the kind of grocery lists you have when you on food stamps. But that basket, boy, you see that basket full of groceries, like, okay, them stamps done hit. What would be if you had just the power to just make it be, what would be the first thing you would fix in the black community? Like, man, this got to be done first and foremost.
Man, that's a very good question. We've got so many potholes that need to be fixed
man,
in our community. But I'll tell you what's been heavy on my heart lately. It's I would fix the division in our families.
Okay.
Division within our families has caused it's the source of so much, depression. It's the source of so much, just so many problems. And like right now, you got the war going on between the Palestinians and the Israelis. Free Palestine. Free Palestine.
Sir. No question.
That's all I'll say on that. And recently, there was a peace plan. We'll see if it holds up. It probably won't. But that being said, it's all right for us to applaud a peace plan for wars that we see overseas. But what about the beef between your mama and your auntie?
Come on, man.
That's been going on since
childhood.
1970s.
Yeah.
When she stole $14 out of my cigarette case.
Yeah.
Remember they had cigarette cases?
Yeah,
back
actually
then? That's
cigarette case, yeah.
Yeah, it's been 1970. And, you know, y'all still can't sit at the same table, you know, at Thanksgiving. And now her children, when they see that she don't like her sister, then her sister children don't like her children. And now you have this pyramid of unnecessary division.
Right.
Where we only really get together when somebody dies.
Yeah.
And we be looking at each other crazy then.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know why Allah put that on my heart as an answer to your question, but I really wish that we could fix that.
Yeah. Well, you know, the family dynamic is the key to everything. You know, what happens inside our little quarters, you know, reflects what's going to happen to each individual once they leave out, you know, within their own control. But yeah, that's a strong answer because strong family, strong community, you know, and not to dwell on the pettiness that we go through a lot within our own families. It's like sometimes when you were speaking about how when young brothers get themselves jammed up, when you find out the story, it's like, man, this was over nothing. It's the same in the family dynamic.
Same in the family dynamic.
Arguing behind that, because you know, that was the dude you liked, and she ended up getting with him, and that was 15 years. Middle school. Yeah, middle school, and that's things like that. So it just it's something in us that we got to start prioritizing what's really important, you know. And people have genuine hate for other members of their family these days, and it's crazy.
Right.
And even in the ones that don't have that genuine hate, they may just carry that resentment so hard to where they love that person, but they don't want to be the ones to have to be the bigger person, pride. And then if something happens to that family member, they messed up.
They messed up.
Yeah. It's like, because they never,
And see, along with that, you said there's one thing I could fix. Along with that, it kind of goes hand in hand. I would just kick over that crab bucket.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I would kick over that crab bucket, that crab barrel.
Come on. Right. Crabs in the bucket, crabs in the barrel.
The envy.
Yeah.
The jealousy that we experience among one another, just amongst our own.
Yeah.
And I think the only solution to that problem is, you know, people have to be made to find their gift.
Yeah.
If you find your gift and you make a commitment to the development of the gift that God gave you, then you'll become as great as you were meant to become.
Come on, man.
You know, what did the Psalms 82 say? Ye are all gods.
Come on.
Children of the Most High God. He didn't say K. Reno is a God and we not.
Right.
Brother Deric is a God and y'all not.
Yeah.
Ye are all gods.
Come on, man.
Children of the Most High God.
Yeah.
And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that God means force and power.
Come on.
So when you develop your gift, you develop the force and power within.
Man.
You become so strong.
Right.
That you don't even have justification to be envious and jealous of anybody else.
Right.
But it starts with the knowledge of self and the development of your own gift.
Yeah. Man.
I'm thankful that God just didn't make me like that.
Nah.
To be envious and jealous of someone. He didn't make me like that.
Right.
But having found my purpose in life and having been given the opportunity to develop the gifts that help me to pursue my purpose. When you get caught up in that kind of life, you don't even have time
to worry about. Yeah.
To worry about what nobody else got going on.
And it takes away insecurities because if my gift is classical piano and I'm a master at that, I ain't envious of Saquon Barkley because how he run in the football. It's like it actually develops more of an admiration because if you are a believer in a creator and a higher power, you like, man, it's interesting how God would give me this skill and he gave him or her that. It's just totally different from mine. It's like, ooh, that made me go, woo. But where the real struggle with envy comes in my opinion, is when you're dealing with a bunch of people who are in the same field.
Yeah.
You know, that's when it get real, because it's like now, oh, he got on stage and rapped and he killed it. And I'm jealous because now I gotta come behind that. You're like, no,
right.
Just like you said, you still have to hone whatever it is, because even though we do the same thing, we do it in different ways.
Right.
So let me max out the way I do it, and I'm gonna bring, as great as he or she was before me, I'm gonna bring another dynamic to the stage that's gonna be just as great.
Right.
You know, and even it may, I tell artists this all the time, it may not be received in the same way. Meaning, like, if I'm an artist that I get up there and I'm just crunk, I'm bouncing around, I'm high energy, and the crowd is high energy with me, and you get caught up in that, it's like, well, you know what, that's great, but that's not my ability. That's not how I do it. I get up there and okay, I may be more cerebral in my approach, and I'm just chilling, and people are thinking and watching, like, and they not hollering and screaming, but the effect is really the same.
Right. But
you know what I was thinking?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, when you got your purpose, but his main thing, what he said, was developing it, right?
Yeah.
So if you're developing it, right, say if I'm the classical piano and I'm focused on developing this piano so cold, and I see the football player, in my mind, I'm thinking, how can I add this to him to make him even better?
Yeah.
Make mine even better, or tap a whole nother level that I didn't even know could exist. So if I'm the one that's rapping and I'm trying to hone it and develop it harder, and I see you come harder, guess what happens? If I'm just cold and you that cold, we come together now.
When you find your greatness, it's a comfort that you have. It's like Brother Deric saying, he's like, the way he moved, he said, I ain't got time to be thinking about that, because I'm so locked in what my mission is. I can only, it's like driving a car. I'm driving a car. I'm focused on this vehicle that I'm operating and where I'm going, but I can look to the side and see who in the car here and there. I can kind of look in the rear mirror. I can wave at but that's quick. I got to get my eyes focused right back on what I'm doing. Yeah.
Purpose.
Yeah.
You developing it, ain't enough time in the day.
Nah.
It's what you got to get done.
Now that's a fact right there.
Yeah.
And it's like we have to learn how to feed off of the energy of each other's greatness.
Come on, man.
Instead of looking at one another as competition.
Yeah.
When I saw K Reno drop, was it 7 albums?
Yeah, we seen you up there.
Yeah. He came to this. Yeah, right.
When I saw him drop 7 albums in one day, I'm not a rapper. I'm not a musician. I don't do the same thing that he does. We may have, we had the same message.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say similar. We have the same message, but I don't do what he does. But I recognize how the type of work ethic that it took in order for him to accomplish that. So now I'm feeding off of the energy of his work ethic. What would it look like if I dropped 7 books at one time?
Come on,
you understand what I'm saying?
Come on, man.
Instead of me being envious of my brother's historical accomplishment, we have to learn how to feed off of each other's greatness.
Man.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Boy, that's so deep.
Because think about it. You know, I do public speaking.
Nah, really?
If there's
You just saw him on the street, say, hey, man, you want to come in and film
I can't tell.
So if I'm on a program and the brother or sister that speaks before me is dynamic and rocks the crowd, and I feel intimidated because I feel like they're not gonna clap as hard for me as they clap for them. Well, when I get up, the people will detect that.
Come on, man.
In my performance.
All the time I do that. I see
Come
that
on,
church
man.
all the time.
They will feel.
In church all the time.
You said church all the time.
That's big time, boy. I ain't hating, boy. Them pastors be competing, boy. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but that's real, though.
You know, so and so what it does, it affects and it impacts your presentation when you have envy in your heart.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so we have to learn how to feed off of each other's greatness.
No doubt.
And when you have that type of exchange of energy, it's just in our everyday lives. And I feel like when you see your brother or your sister do something exemplary, man, say something about
Come on, man.
Compliment them. You compliment them when they got a new car, but sometimes we don't even do that.
Yeah.
But if you see your brother or your sister level up, man, let them know how proud you are. Speak it out of your mouth.
Absolutely.
That's
good energy.
And say, go file that Guinness Book record, man.
But I'm gonna say this too, because the opposite of that is we don't have no problem speaking up when they fall. Something negative happened. Man, you heard what happened to little JoJo? And like, okay, you brought that up, but when he was on top, I didn't hear from you. So, but I'm gonna tell you something else that's great about you, bro. You know, that we gonna bring to light right now. There's a thing that I hear you refer to all the time as paying your black tax.
Yes, sir.
And this brother, he don't just talk about supporting black-owned businesses. I always look up and see a picture of him somewhere holding a plate of food from a black-owned restaurant, wearing some clothing from something. You know what I'm saying? So what we got to understand is, man, that part of removing that envious spirit from each other is wanting to make other black people millionaires and billionaires. Speak to the black tax and how important it is, because I know it's a long question, but one thing you said that I always repeat when I'm having this conversation with other black people, even if I'm having an argument about this thing, because, you know, we love to go on social media and say, man, I went to Trio Burger and the bun was soggy. And it's like, come on, man. You said something a long time ago. You said, bro, even if you have to drive a little further out, even if when you get to your brother's sister's establishment and it costs a little bit more, do it anyway. You know, speak to that aspect of us and black unity in terms of black businesses and stuff.
Yeah, well, it makes me to reflect on the era of integration. And how when they integrated the lunch counters and they integrated the schools and they integrated the cemeteries and the toilets and whatnot, they also integrated the economies in America. But it was a one-sided integration, meaning when Lyndon Baines Johnson signed those documents that said it was okay for black people to go and to patronize white restaurants, we took off running to spend our black dollars in those white restaurants. And you know, they can't cook half as good as us.
Come on.
At all. Can't even cook.
Yeah.
So we went over there we went over there to spend our hard-earned sharecropping black dollars to buy this bland beef stroganoff.
Right.
And we abandoned our own black restaurants because didn't no white people take their white dollars to the black businesses, so the black businesses closed down.
Right. One-sided.
So this was a systematic scam.
Come on.
That robbed our children of the businesses that they were supposed to inherit. So I think in order for us to correct that error that was made by us as a people, because we fell for the scam, we have to be very intentional and go out of our way to make sure that the black dollar circulates in the black community once again. And so if that means you have to drive past the coffee shop, the Starbucks,
right,
to go a little bit further to the black-owned coffee shop, even if it's going to cost you 80 cents more.
Come on, man.
You need to do that.
That's right.
Because you're spending a little bit more money and driving a little bit further, but you're spending with your own.
Come on.
And I don't know about anybody else, but for me, buying black is not just financial, it's spiritual for me.
Right.
When I spend my money with my own people, I feel the spirit of Black Wall Street at that moment. I feel better about my situation, about myself, right? But when I spend my money with people that I know don't give a damn about
Come
me,
on.
when I spend my money with people that I know wouldn't give a red cent back to my community,
And haven't.
I don't feel good about that.
Right.
I don't feel good about the purchase. So when you buy with your own, it's a spiritual experience. You're not just talking Black Wall Street, you're paying homage.
That's right.
To those builders from back in the day. See, there was a time when we as a people were very clear on who our friends were, and we were clear on who our enemies were.
Right.
Back then, our enemies, they wore white sheets and overalls, and they walked around in police uniforms with German shepherds that they sicked on our grandmothers. We were clear on who the enemy was, and we were clear on who our friends were.
Right.
And back in the 40s and 50s and 60s, when it was nothing for a black man to be lynched in a sundown town, we had the mentality of all we got is us.
Yeah.
And that's when the black economy was stronger.
Right. Right.
Now, things are distorted now. The enemy doesn't wear the Ku Klux Klan white sheets anymore. They carry briefcases and they wear long black robes. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And because of that distortion, we've gotten away from the all we got is us mentality. But here we are in the year 2025. The illiteracy rate in our community is worse now than it was in the 60s, brother.
Right.
They say when we came out of slavery, black people had about 1% of the wealth in this country.
Mm.
Here we are in 2025. And even though we've got several black millionaires and some black billionaires, we still make up about 1% of the wealth in this country. The needle has not moved because the masses of the people are still suffering.
Right.
We got to get back to reality. And the reality is all we got is us.
Yeah.
And that's okay because all we need
is us.
Is us.
Yeah.
You think about this systemic, like this promotion that they got now. I don't know if you see it online where they putting the black woman against the black man so much and so heavy, and almost everything around. It's just like how you said we need to be to understand that it's all we got each other. But now they blame each other. Now we have to blaming each other. You're not submissive. You're not getting it, not understanding. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that is most definitely a part of the enemy's playbook, because as black men and black women, we need each other to convince a black man that he doesn't need the black woman is to cripple him.
Come on.
To convince the black woman that she doesn't need the black man is to cripple her.
That's right.
And the division between the two cripples the children, who are the real casualties in this so-called war between black men and black women. So when we engage in this type of dialogue and this type of activity, all we're doing is playing into the enemy's playbook. We're playing into Willie Lynch's playbook. And as long as that crab barrel is allowed to remain active and we don't kick it over, we ain't going nowhere as a community.
Yeah, that's amazing, man, because all of our problems are connected to the one source.
Yes.
And that's systemic source that's made sure that they broke down every component of us and everything, every structure that we once had or that we trying to have, had a mind to have, it's out of there, man. And that's a tough thing, man. I just look at the fact of when you're saying about 1% of the wealth, we have fallen into a situation where even with a little bit more opportunity, the result is still what it is. And to me, that goes back to what you said earlier, just lack of knowledge of self. You know, that these things would never happen if we had an understanding not only just who we are, but like you said, who our enemies are. It's a lot of sellouts among us too, man. And I like to always bring that to light because so many people in our own community will take that money that the white man gives them and they will totally abandon. Some have been on the mission, like they on the right path, but they test your mind when they cut that check to see how true are you really, you know, to this mission. And we've seen a lot of our brothers and sisters fall off the wagon because that money is the true definition of hush money in a lot of cases, where if you have the influence to really affect change among black people, they gonna turn you off of that. But hey, man, see, and I'm not gonna say the brother's name, but he's in my mind, you know, pretty known brother, and he got like $100 million, and now his whole conversation is starting to be different. It's right, and I guess I don't know if this is a good question, but how do we combat against that, and how do we handle brothers and sisters who sell us out like that?
That's a very good question. You know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I'm reminded, said that you don't have to condemn a dirty glass. What you have to do is set up a clean glass beside it. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't get to the point where we have to call out certain individuals. Sometimes it's unavoidable.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
But what we have to do, my brother, the only way to combat that is for us to create our own systems. We have to create our own wealth. We got to create our own communities. We got to create our own independent everything. See, when you have a brother who is an influencer and the enemy realizes that he feels that he's losing control. You know how you ride a bike and you start losing control of the handlebar?
Right. Brakes ain't work,
The first thing they do is they find one of our quote unquote influencers who have a measure of control over the energy in our culture, pay them off and say, okay, we need for you to steer the handlebars in this direction. This is what happened to conscious rap.
Yeah, man. Come on.
In the 90s, when the pivot was made to, you know, music that was a whole lot less conscious. I put it, some people call it gangster rap or whatever you want to call it. But the point that I'm making is we have to create a current so strong in our culture that anybody that even looks like they're trying to take us off the conscious course, they stick out like a sore thumb.
Come on.
If you want to quote unquote cancel somebody, then that's who we need to cancel, the sellouts and the stool pigeons and those who are trying to mortgage our future by sticking a needle in the brain of our children, trying to poison them with the ideas of our enemy.
Come on.
Instead of inoculating them with the ideas based on freedom, justice, and equality. So we have to create a current that's so strong that they can't do nothing with it. And for those of you out here who say you want to be an influencer, because that's what everybody say they want to be.
Right.
Understand that there's a difference between someone who has influence and someone who has power.
Come on.
See, if you're an influencer and you have influence, the person who has power can always use the power of their resources to control your level of influence and control how you influence your own people. So stop saying you want to be an influencer. We got to stop going for the influence, and it's time for us to start playing for power.
Come on, man. Ooh, yeah.
So we can have power to determine our own destiny.
Right.
So no more talk about I want to be an influencer. When you hear a young person say, yeah, I want to be an influencer when I grow up, now you're meant for more than that.
Right.
Because influencers can be easily manipulated and controlled.
Influencers can be influenced.
Thank you. By power.
Man, by power, man. And the minister, he was quoting Frederick Douglass one time and said, when Frederick Douglass said, power concedes nothing without a demand, and the minister added on to that, he say, without a demand backed by power. So power is that key word. It's like if we don't have no juice, okay, I got this nice house, but the electricity ain't on, so we're gonna be hot and sitting in the dark at some point. But yeah, that's a beautiful answer, because a lot of Black people, we just don't believe that we can do it. And that's ridiculous to me. It's like, no, we can do it. We just got to give the knowledge to know how to do it, and then we got to have it in our spirit to want to do it.
And we have to be in unity.
Right.
That is the power that we speak of that controls influence. That power is in our unity.
Yeah.
That's the greatest form of power that we have. That's God.
That's it.
Right there.
Yeah.
When we as a people make a decision to come together and move as a solid army, that's what the Million Man March was about. Yeah. It was a display.
Right.
It was the ultimate display of Black unity.
That's right.
It showed us what was possible. Right. And, my favorite quote by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was when the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, no individual can ever rise above the condition of his people.
Right.
That means it doesn't matter how many millions you have. It doesn't matter how many billions you have. You can become a trillionaire.
Yeah.
At some point, you will find yourself being judged.
Come on.
Based upon the condition of the lowliness of let me not say lowliest, but of the least fortunate of your people. This is why Barack Obama, who became president of the United States, at least he was by title, because we know that the president he's not the power over the government. There's a government that runs the government.
The shadow government.
Exactly.
Right.
But when he would go on these missions and these different trips around the world, he would go to some places. I remember a particular instance in Russia, and you know how the dignitaries, they line up for the president, and then you go from person to person shaking their hands. Well, there was some of these white folks in Russia that wouldn't even shake his Black hand.
Right.
And he's the president of the most quote unquote powerful country on earth. But at that moment, they saw him as no different than the Black homeless man under the street.
Yeah.
No individual can never rise above the condition of his people.
That's right.
And when we really internalize what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is saying, he's saying that no matter how much you have, no matter what you accomplish, no matter what you do, if you don't take your brothers and your sisters with you,
you ain't done nothing.
You've done nothing.
Yeah, unbelievable.
So no individual can ever rise above the condition of his people. When the least among us come up, we all rise.
Yeah. Let me ask you this here. Why do most Black people not trust the police?
We'll be here for a while.
I'll just say simply that they've never given us a reason to.
No.
And you don't have to be a Harvard scholar. You don't have to have gone to Egypt and got a college degree at Al-Azhar to realize that this is not an institution, I'm talking about American law enforcement,
Right.
that has the best interest of Black people at heart.
Right.
As a matter of fact, the institution's humble beginnings started with the slave. There was a slave catching industry.
Plantation.
Basically what it was.
Yeah.
So from the inception of this thing called policing, which was really a relatively new thing, because historically communities and villages have organized themselves and policed themselves.
Right.
That's really the way it's supposed to be done. But from the inception of westernized policing, it was always aimed at the capture of Black people to put them back into spaces where they perform free labor.
Right. Right.
That's the way it was then.
And
That's the way it is now.
Right. Right. Right.
So the police have not given Black people an intelligent reason to trust them.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a couple more for you. Another thing about you, bro, is how you have the understanding, and I know this trickles down from the example that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan sets, in that no matter what we are, who we are supposed to be, or what we claim we are, what we are, we have a responsibility to teach in all circles.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see Brother Deric Muhammad speaking to our young brothers at the Black Male Summit. I can see him speaking to young brothers in the streets and trying to get them to transition out of their lifestyle. I could see him unifying rappers in this city, which he's done, and got the rappers together to try to work on that aspect, all the way up to politics, having a relationship with Brother Sylvester Turner before he passed and all things. Speak to the importance of being everywhere, brother,
Mm-hmm.
and not, I'm just going to isolate myself and I don't deal with that. We got to work with everybody. Speak to that, bro. Because when you brought all the rappers together, man, you know, I was just honored to be in the room. I was like, man, you know, but it also speaks to your greatness and respect that we have for you, because a lot of people can call, but that don't mean we gonna call.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But,
Yes, sir.
yeah, but speak to that whole thing of just about making anybody who may have that isolated thought process, they on a mission,
Mm-hmm.
but they like, I ain't dealing with these cats.
Yeah, you know, I've never really thought about that. That's a great question. And the way I would answer that, brother, is to say that you talk to people, let's say you talk to a group of folk in corporate America,
Right.
brothers and sisters who work in corporate America. They work for Shell, they work for Exxon, they work for Apple, they work for whomever, right? If you sit down and you talk to them long enough, you'll see how they're being racially discriminated against at that level.
That's right.
You can go to the penitentiary. The brothers can see how they're being oppressed at that level.
Mm.
So when you've had experiences where you touch all these different types of people, you see that everybody's suffering in their little silos, right? For instance, I sit down and I talk with professionals and businessmen, and I see what they bring to the table.
Yeah.
If I sit down and now I'm talking to the young brothers who are leaders of gangs, I see what they bring to the table, all right? I've been in the streets before, so I know how to talk to them, all right? I've dealt with people on a professional level before. I know how to talk to them. I see how the architect can mentor the young brother who just happens to be a Crip,
Right.
but he has a talent. He could look at something and he could put it down on paper in 5-10 minutes.
Off the
So
dome.
he got the talent of the architect.
Right.
So I feel like it's my job to introduce them,
Right.
to bring these two worlds together.
Yeah.
And when those worlds come together, The businessman got something that the young gangbanger needs, because the young gangbanger, you know, he want to learn business too. Yeah. He want to take his dirty money, turn his dirty money clean.
That's right.
The businessman can use, you know, the street soldier. Why? Because at some point when you build something in business, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said you got to be able to protect what it is that you build. So just being a follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and seeing how Minister Farrakhan moves, it helps you to always want to see the bigger picture. Yeah. And when you see the bigger picture, you see how this entity could help that entity, and you try to bring everybody, you know, together. But I don't know if Allah gave me something, I don't like the word special, but something significant where I could sit in all of these different rooms and not ever lose a piece of myself.
Right.
If I'm sitting in the room with the brothers who are rappers, which we've been in those spaces before, working on community stuff. Right. You've seen me. I don't try to become a rapper.
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't try to change the way I dress or change the way I talk in front of these brothers. They respect me for who I am. Absolutely. I respect them for who it is that they are. I can sit in any room as long as it ain't nothing fake. Yeah. Now, that's what I'm not good at.
Come on.
I'm not good at laughing when the joke ain't funny.
That's right.
I'm not good at picking up something off the ground and ain't nothing even fell down. I'm just not good at that. Yeah. And I think that is what people can appreciate about brothers like us is we don't come in the room trying to be nobody except ourselves.
That's right. That's right. That's right. You got to take it or leave it alone.
Fact.
So you got anything else before we get our brother out of here?
Last time we had somebody from the nation that was in here. Kay came up with a great idea at the end of the show. Mm-hmm. It's about
what I say
misunderstandings about the nation.
Mm-hmm.
And he had some ideas. It's like we would pick 1 or 3 misunderstandings about the nation. My couple I had was why no beards?
Oh, why no beard?
Yeah.
Well, because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us to be men who were militant. Mm-hmm. And traditionally, men who are militant are clean shaven. Mm-hmm. It's called being clean shaven because it's easy to maintain your hygiene when you don't have facial hair. I just grew me a little mustache. People had a fit when I grew this mustache. Like, what you doing? You leaving the nation? I'm like, nah, man, it's regulation.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why we're clean shaven. But not having a beard does not make you FOI. Doesn't make you a Muslim. It does, you know.
I thought because the other Muslims, they don't cut the beard.
Mm-hmm. You know, Orthodox.
Yeah,
it's a different protocol.
And it's a different culture.
Yeah.
You know, when you go into the Middle East, most Muslims over there wear a beard because according to the history, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, you know, wore a beard as well. You know, we're clean shaven, but we're also taught that opposites attract. So when we go into our communities, speaking and teaching the truth, we don't go in looking exactly like the people. We go in clean shaven, looking a little different. Not that we're better than our people, but you want to present yourself as someone who is attractive, not attractive from a personal standpoint, like you want women to be attracted to you, but attractive in that you draw people to you.
There's a uniqueness.
So that, thank you.
To your look.
Yeah. So that they're more susceptible to the truth, you know, that you're speaking. You know, but for me, I did notice that when I first came into the nation, I think I had a beard. I shaved it all off. But guess what? It was the same dynamic when I went into the U.S. military. So it's more of a military thing.
Yeah.
You know, we wear bow ties.
That's my next question.
Yeah, we wear the bow ties.
Instead of the tie.
Now, we're trained to wear bow ties instead of the neckties. That don't mean you can't wear a necktie. I wear a necktie. often, but the bow tie is standard because, I mean, as FOI, if you really study the history of the fruit of Islam, we've had many wars, not just spiritual.
Yeah.
And they say if you get into fisticuffs, you get into a fight with somebody, you try to grab that tie come right off. You just continue, doing God's work. But if you have on the necktie, then, they might try to control you with the necktie. So I say that to say that there is a science to everything that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad taught. Right. Everything.
Right. This is my last one.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the and the misunderstandings. Have the Houston National the Nation of Islam ever had meetings or got to the point to they're fed up with the fact that K Reno never wears the bow tie? He never wears it.
It's been a great show tonight, y'all. It has been Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Next week's episode, y'all gonna see me hang Keystone with a necktie.
Hey, the answer to that question is emphatically no. We've never had a meeting. We've never had such a meeting.
But look, man, we appreciate you so much, man. Because, all the work that you've done and continue to do, and we thank Allah for your energy and the spirit to keep doing it because, I don't know, like I said, when you're born to do something, you're born to do it because it would be very difficult for me and I know a lot of people to have to get up. I'm sure you get calls at all times of the day and night. My son got beat up or my son got arrested. They did this. It's unjust. I'm sure you get that so much that it can probably be hard to even carry on with your regular life.
Oh, yes, sir.
But when you're born to do it, you're born to do it. And I saw the minister one time speaking recently. This was a minister when he was already up into his 90s, and he was saying, like, y'all ain't got no reason to be tired. There's all the stuff that I've done and do. It's like, I want to hear y'all talk. So I understand where it comes from, but just human nature still would kind of just be like, hey, let me get up,
facts.
And how it is. Facts. So we thank you for, like how they say to people I know you're in the military and people love to say, thank you for your service. But bro, we thank you for your continued service and we pray for the great success and great results for our people from the work that you and others like you are doing, bro. So
thank you, my brother.
We appreciate that.
I appreciate the encouraging words,
man. It's really
never think that they don't go a long way.
Man, come on, man. It's one of the realest. This one of the realest to ever do it, man. Our brother Deric Muhammad. It's your big brother K Reno.
It's your boy Keith Stokes.
It's the Underground Dialogue Podcast, and we are out.
Hey, it's your big brother K Reno. Look, man, the Underground Dialogue website is back in function. We back in motion, man. If y'all want Underground Dialogue Podcast merch, whatever you need, go to undergrounddialogue.com and check us out. And always make sure that every Wednesday night, y'all are checking out the Underground Dialogue Podcast right on YouTube, 9 p.m. Central Time. Yeah! What's up, man? It's your big brother K Reno, and check this out, man. The Underground Dialogue Podcast is offering advertising opportunities, man. You can promote your business, you can promote your video, your song, whatever it is that you have, man. Reach out to us if you're interested in promoting on the Underground Dialogue Podcast. All you gotta do is email us at undergrounddialoguepodcast@gmail.com. Get it. What up, man? It's your big brother K Reno. I'm proud to announce that I'm a new brand ambassador to this new brand of clothing and shoes called Volas. Y'all make sure that y'all support this. It's already available. Houston-based company, straight out the A. Look at the quality of the packaging itself. We ain't even got to the shoes yet, man. And this is just one pair of shoes, one design. They got all kinds of dope designs of shoes that you guys can choose from. Go to volas.biz, find your order, find what you want,
Wide selection to choose from, male and female items, and I'm proud to be a part of it, man. Community workers, versatile products, bollards, manufactured in Italy. Look at the quality of this box. Y'all don't know what it is. Catch y'all later on.